Grow Cook Eat is proudly sponsored by Board Bia and StopFoodWaste.ie.
We're back in Grow HQ here in Waterford for another year of growing, cooking and eating.
This year, the 7 veg we're growing are
Onions, pumpkins, sweet corn, courgettes, kale, French beans and spicy chilies, making each vegetable the star of the show.
We'll be teaching you how to grow like a pro.
Look at these beauties.
As well as travelling far and wide to find the best food stories from around the country. Is everybody hungry?
Then it's into the kitchen for our favourite part, the taste test.
Yum.
So what are we waiting for?
Let's get growing.
So, Karen, I have some bad news for you. The veg that we are growing this week, sweet corn, does not do very well in containers.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I can understand that. And you know what, it's okay, because I can't have my own way every time.
What?
I do know, however, that sweet corn is a very, very tricky veg to grow.
It's incredibly tricky, but worth persevering because when you get it, if you get it right, it is the most amazing homegrown veg.
Totally worth it. So does that mean this is a bit of a team effort then?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, okay.
Let's give it a
try.
go.
Team effort, team effort.
This week we're growing the amazing, but tough to cultivate, sweet corn.
Later on, I'll be giving you some tips on how to fight the war on slugs. And Karen will be learning how we can all make better use of our water.
Then it's into the kitchen where Katie Sanderson will be cooking up some sweet corn fritters.
So what we're going to do is we're going to try and grow, about 9 plants. So we've got 9 modules in here. So one seed in each module.
Oh, hang on, so we've got one variety.
Yeah,
okay,
just one variety. It's called Sweet Nugget. So it does what it says. Does what it says on the tin. Same as always with module trays. You just start by overfilling them, break up the composts. And we're just going to put, as I said, one seed in each module. Just rest them.
There, my love.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just rest them on the soil to start with. And then, same rule of thumb as ever, 2 times as deep as the size of the seed itself. So you're just pushing them down a couple of centimetres into the soil. And one very particular thing about these, which is kind of mad, and it comes back to the sort of sweetness thing I was talking about, that there's a really, really high concentration of sugar in these. And so much so that it affects the germination. So
okay, you'll have to explain that now a little bit, sorry.
I don't even understand it myself, to be honest. Right? But what it means is you need to keep them really well watered before they germinate.
Okay.
To sort of dilute that sugar concentration, because if it's too high, they won't germinate. But for now, just keep them somewhere sunny.
Where's our
inside.
water?
You need temperatures 18, 20 degrees.
So like
give them
a
a
good
really
soak.
good water. Good soak, yeah.
Okay, don't forget to label
Yeah.
yours. Done. Okay, good. I'm looking forward to seeing how these get on. Okay, Mick, even I can tell that these heroes have got a little bit too far.
Yeah. If you look at the roots in here, they're all looking a bit sort of pot bound.
Yeah.
The plants themselves, you can see, are starting to struggle up the top here because there's not enough food for them in this. But sweet corn is a very forgiving plant, so I think they will be okay. That's my stringent hope.
Okay, so let's not make them wait any longer.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? What's the spacing?
Yeah, so the spacing is about 40 centimetres.
Actually, can I just check? We're just going to put these 9 in here and the other 9 in the bed.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're going to try 9 of them outside, 9 of them inside. It's one of those crops that kind of benefits from sunny weather.
Yeah.
So these ones in here should be really, really warm in here.
Let's see how they get on down below.
We'll see how they get on down below.
In the great outdoors. Okay, so
the
what's
spacing is 40 centimetres. So we know if you flick over like that, it's 30 centimetres.
Okay.
So just a little bit more than that.
Right.
So that's pretty much it. Just dig a little hole just big enough for the little module to go in. So we need a bit of feed.
Sure,
so we're going to go with the kind of the usual. So a handful of seaweed dust per square yard, which is about, so I'd say 2 handfuls for kind of overall in here. Not a hugely hungry kind of plant, and not hugely thirsty either, actually. You don't need to be over-watering them.
Okay.
We do need to water them now to kind of get them in. Okay, that's it.
Okay,
That's
let's
done.
go.
Let's on to the next ones.
Though Mick swears by planting sweet corn for module trays, luckily head grower Richard and I have a backup plan. But for now, on with the planting.
First row there, so 40 centimetres again. Perfect, yeah.
Thank you.
So there's a weird kind of a thing with sweet corn growing outside, right? Which is that it's a wind pollinated plant, right? And in order to kind of help that along, you plant it in blocks instead of rows. So if you have let's say a single kind of a row of sweet corn, our prevailing wind comes from that direction. So it'll be coming here and it'll blow the pollen kind of away, basically. Whereas what you wanted to do is blow the pollen onto the next plant. So you plant it in blocks, which just basically means multiple rows.
More than one row.
Well, more than two typically, just to be pedantic. Obviously, the ones we sowed in the glass house, there's no wind in there.
Really? There's no wind in a glass house? Amazing. Wow.
So we're going to have to pollinate them by hand. So same kind of spacing. You're going for kind of 40 centimetres in the row as well.
Okay.
There we go, that's in. So same applies. We're putting a handful of seaweed dust and a handful of poultry manure pellets, as always, just to give a general
Boost.
feed to the plants. So that's it.
Okay. A watering can there.
The absolute bane of every DIYer's existence is slugs. They're the #1 nemesis we all have in the veg patch. Great thing though about being part of a DIY group, of which I am here in Waterford, is that there's always lots of advice on hand. So I've come to the garden of a good friend of mine and a fellow DIYer, Fergal O'Neill, and we're going to share with some amazing slug hacks with you to hopefully beat this, our nemesis in the garden, and get some good food before they do. So Fergal, it's hard to believe that something as kind of small and harmless and innocuous looking as this is capable of doing so much damage.
I suppose there's two things there, Mick, is the amount of them you'd have in your garden, up to 20,000 in an average garden, 200 per square metre.
So in an area just in front of us here?
There could be 3,000 of them, I'd say, 4,000,
My God.
5,000. And the other thing is they've more teeth than a shark, so they're really made for eating plants.
These guys are hanging out sort of somewhere cool and damp by day, and at night time then they're emerging
And
they're just doing absolute carnage. With so many slugs, it's always going to be an uphill battle, but there are some tricks to stem the tide. It's fair to say there's about as many kind of slug hacks as there are days in the year. What have you found has worked well for you? We've got a nice table full of goodies here.
Yeah, well, I like this one. It's, eggshells. Everybody has an old eggshell around. The slugs definitely don't like it because it's so abrasive.
Right, so they won't crawl over that.
No way. And I wouldn't put it around all my plants, but the ones I really want to look after, I'd put them around that.
Yeah. These ones people would probably be quite familiar with. So these are slug pellets. Very important to say that normal slug pellets can be incredibly toxic. They have a lot of things like formaldehyde, all sorts of awful stuff you wouldn't want in your soil. But these are an organic equivalent or alternative. They're iron phosphate that just breaks down relatively harmlessly. Quite expensive, that's the only thing.
Well, here's an easy one here. Just, orange peel, or just kind of an orange. You make a little hole there for your slug to get into. Leave it out on the ground, and the slugs will come in
and hide under
there during the day.
Yeah.
And you go collect them.
And then my favourite one, possibly because I just love an old beer, is a bit of beer. So did you know, Fergal? You did know this, of course. You've been the beer aficionado.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that slugs love beer, and a little saucer of beer in the soil like that, they crawl in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and they have a. You're not supposed to drink it. It's for the slugs.
Sorry. Yeah. Good way to die. Good way to die.
Good way to die if you're going to go. One last thing to mention, which Richard in Grow HQ talks about a lot, is just kind of outgrowing your slugs. In other words, growing enough that you're going to lose 10% of your crop to slugs. Just accept it, grow enough that they can have a bit, and don't stress about it too much. I think it's fair to say the war against slugs is ongoing and never ending.